Alright, how's it going everyone? And as you can tell by the title of the video, and this video is on Toxicroak and how I got this thing to high ladder in Gen 9 OU. So Toxicroak, pretty much the mon when you look at its stats, is just pretty mediocre. Like his highest stat is 106 and that's the attack stat, which isn't even that great. I mean the typing is pretty good, poison fighting. It's a really good typing defensively as well. And yeah, that's why it's ZU and makes sense. Yeah, but what if I tell you, if you put this thing on rain, it is a different kind of beast, especially in the current meta. And if you run like the set that I'm running was pretty much max defense with a little bit of speed. I think I'm pretty sure this set was from Storm Zone initially. I remember seeing it months back, him using this. But yeah, if you look at the current meta, right, especially if you run this thing under rain with dry skin as its ability, it pretty much heals 13% every single turn, which is really good. And the fact that most of the physical meta right now is completely countered by this thing is pretty insane. Because let's say the current top mons in the meta, right? Ogre Pawn, doesn't matter what Ogre Pawn you come across, this thing will shut it down and counter it, especially Wellspring, right, which is a really good counter to rain teams. And with dry skin it just absorbs and soaks all the water type moves coming towards it. And that also adds into the fact that if you run into opposing rain and you have a Toxicroak, it is a really good counter to opposing rain. And speaking of other physical attacking Pokemon that are in the top meta right now, Zamazenta, right? This thing with this typing E poison fighting, it resists its stab, that is body press, which it usually runs. Even if it's running banded close combat, it can easily live 2. And the moves you're running on it are Encore, Knockoff, Toxic, and Drain Punch. Now obviously you can Encore any setup Pokemon, right? This is a really good sweep blocker as well. And especially if you are running Terra Ghost. Terra Ghost is mostly here basically for Dragonite, because Dragonite is a really big threat to rain. And if you pretty much switch this into Dragonite upon a Dragon Dance, you can then Terra Ghost, live the Earthquake, and then Encore that thing, or even Toxic it. That could work as well, right? And yeah, and if you especially pairing this thing with rain is where you will get most of its value, right? Because rain in general is pretty much the best weather. It has always been the best weather in my opinion to run, and it will get you good points on the ladder. And by pairing Toxicroak in this team really completes it pretty much. And another one to talk about, right? Alamomola, which is a really big nuisance for rain teams. And what Toxicroak does to Alamomola is that it completely shuts it down, because with if it decides to stay in, you can just knock off or Toxic it, and if it wants to pivot around with Flip Turn, you will pretty much block that with your ability Dry Skin, and you can Encore it into Wish or Protect if it decides to be too annoying. And similarly you can do it to Garganical as well. You can just Encore that thing. So all in all, this thing is basically the best support Pokemon you can run on rain, right? And that's how I pretty much got this thing, and it basically helped me to get to high ladder in SVOU. And pairing it actually, if you look at this team, right, obviously we have the offensive core with Barraskewda and Kingdra, Treads as well. Stealth Rocker, but it's pretty much max on the offensive side. We do have Spitaf Pelipper, which is a good mon to keep. I get a surprise for opponents because no one is ever expecting Spitaf Pelipper. You always run defensive Pelipper, so it can live like specs moves from Dragapult as well, right? And pairing Toxicroak with Heatran is possibly the best defensive core you can ask for in my opinion, because what Heatran does, especially like let's say if you run into Sun, right? Obviously Toxicroak won't be the best one to run there, but Heatran pretty much hard counters Sun, especially if you run Terra Grass. Yeah, because this thing having Flash Fire, which means fire type moves have no effect on it. That's why you run Flash Fire Heatran here. And does this set The Magma Storm Taunt Protect set is basically to counter stall. You can pretty much trap any Pokemon that is the biggest nuisance to your team and then just deal with it from there. And Toxicroak as well pretty much does that. Yeah, even another big name that I missed, right, is Rillaboom. Rillaboom, which is pretty much the biggest threat to rain teams. It can easily sweep them. You run Toxicroak into it and it can't break it down at all. Like between the chip that it takes from Rocky Helmet, the Toxic, Knockoff, Encore, yeah, it's just a bad day for the opponent. And yeah, that's how I got to high level with Toxicroak. So yeah, pretty mediocre Mon, but that just goes to show you every Mon can have a use. Niche uses do exist, and yeah, I'm pretty happy that I got Toxicroak to high ladder. So yeah, that's it for this video, and let me know in the comments down below on what you guys want to see next. I think I'm going to upload Legend ZAOU videos next, featuring megas that I haven't already featured. So yeah, look out for that. And yeah, until then, I'm actually running another team right now and laddering up on my alt, and this team is running doing pretty good right now. It is this team that I just built up. So yeah, maybe I'm going to make a video on this team as well featuring this. It's doing pretty good so far. Like I have only lost like a few games with this team, and I've played a lot of games with this team, laddering up on my alternate account. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. And yeah, until later, see you.